trying to dig himself out of a hole, or at least deny the hole, and he's just made it worse. Joining us now is Cornell West, professor of the practice of public philosophy at Harvard University and professor emeritus at Princeton. Dr. West, it's always good to have you. Should the governor resign?
Oh, yeah. Well, I think that he has a very weak argument in staying, and so I think he probably does have to go. But I think we got to put this in the larger context, my brother, that the ugly legacy of white supremacy takes a number of different forms. The Klan's one form, blackface is another, decrepit housing is another, poverty rates, disproportionate black, brown, and red is another, unemployment, underemployment is another. When we talk about white supremacy, we can't just fetishize one individual and then trash that individual. It's too easy. It's too self-righteous. It doesn't take too much courage to come down on somebody who's in blackface and wants to dance like Michael Jackson or ends up with this on this page, whether it's him or not, and that's still an important fact. Unfortunately, he is a product of this vicious white supremacist culture, and he can change. He does not have to be a racist for life. He can end up being a strong anti-racist. That was 35 years ago. So it's not a question of whether he himself is going to not either be in office or not be in office. This is a larger tradition. And how do we fight white supremacy, no matter what color we are? I'm concerned about the quality of his soul and life after he leaves. This is what First Baptist brothers and sisters in Capeville are concerned about. He doesn't have to remain locked into this racist perception. He can do a whole host of things that can show the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. and Fannie Lou Hamer mean something to him, that the legacy of Ann Braden means something to him. But I'm a little disturbed, my brother, about these liberal centrist Democrats who can trash this brother so easily when they just supported him a few months ago. I see Brother Bernie Sanders supported his progressive candidate, right? The same person they're trashing, they supported. Well, where's the principle? Where's morality? Where's integrity? Where's an acknowledgement that white supremacy is shot through all of us, including black people? That's how deep it cuts in this nation. And who's going to fight for it? How you going to fight for it? That's what we need to talk about as much as just trashing his brother and kicking him when he's down. I think, you know, he's in trouble and he's got to go, but that's not the conclusion. That's just a starting point of a serious discussion of how we're going to fight against white supremacy, beginning with poor black, poor brown, poor yellow, and working class people of color.
Well, I hear what you're saying. We've talked about this before, about expanding the definition of white supremacy, that it's easy to just focus on a photo and be blind to other inequalities. Right. In terms of, you know, I mean, this is obviously, as you say, this is one man. There are plenty of people who have done stupid things, inappropriate things, racist things, horrible things in their past, in high school, in college, you know, this in medical school. What is the process for overcoming that? What is the process for not having your life be damned by something you did, some racist act that you did or that you said? How do you atone for that?
Well, one is, the first thing you do, you cast it as a moral and ethical dialogue. It's not a matter of just offending black people because white supremacy is trashing us. It's barbaric, it's monstrous, but it's a moral issue. Whites, brown, a whole host of people ought to be just as morally outraged as black people. The same is true with black people, and other people are trashed in this regard. Jews in France, Palestinians under occupation, Tibet. It's a moral, spiritual issue. We dumb down the whole discussion if it's just a matter of liberal self-righteousness in the name of black people being offended, trashing this white brother. White supremacy must be hated. White supremacy must be trashed. But the question is, how do we attempt to engage in efforts collectively and individually together? None of us escape white supremacy, male supremacy, homophobia, transphobia, anti-Semitism, anti-Arab, anti-Palestinian, anti-Muslim. All of these vicious evils are shot through us. And if we can ascend to the moral and spiritual level, this is the legacy of Martin King. This is the legacy of John Coltrane. This is the legacy of Nina Simone. How do we keep that legacy alive? And thank God that we have some kind of context in which we can go beyond just this ugly name calling and finger pointing, because all of us in the end are fallen. of us in the end are in some sense sinners. And if you're going to do away with all the racist elements and sensibilities, you're not going to have too many people in Congress. You're not going to have too many people on Wall Street. You're not going to have too many people on television. Because all of us are shaped to some degree. Now, there's gradation. The Ku Klux Klan, gangster, capital G. Yes. But there's some other gangster, small g, that's working in this regard. And the question is, how do we remain in contact with the humanity of each and every one of us so we can accent our best? I believe Brother Ralph has potential to be a great anti-racist activist just like LBJ. He doesn't have to be in office to do that because I don't think he can govern. But I'm concerned about him as a human being as well, not just as a governor. He's a human being. He's made in the image of God like everybody else.
Wow.